Do you want to make your watercolors jealous? Just show them this video. I'm Sandy Allnock, and I'm going to be working in watercolor pencil on this cat. And I'm going to show you 14 different ways you can apply and blend and work with watercolor pencils that you can't really do very well in watercolor. And it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. It just means knowing the sweet spot for each one can help you to bring them together. So look in this video for things that you might have wanted to try in watercolor and you can't quite achieve. Maybe you can do that portion of that painting in watercolor pencil and combine the two mediums to create the vision for what you have for your piece of art. So one of the things I started, of course, with was the sketch. And you might notice there's no big lines in here that I created. Sometimes when I show you drawing videos, I'll do big shapes for the head or the mouth or the ear and then refine them. I didn't do that here. I marked with just little pencil tick marks where the back is, where the paw is, where the ear and the nose. And then I could just draw simple connector lines between them. But I'm at a stage where I can kind of see those shapes in my head. So that's what I had done in order to get to this drawing. I didn't want to have a ton of pencil lines to have to erase since it's a white cat. So I got out my Caran Supracolor pencils, and these are artist grade pencils. They are light fast. They work lovely. And I'm going to begin with powder painting on wet paper. If you're new to colored pencil and watercolor pencil, this might be new. But I'm using a tea strainer that has a very fine grain to it. You can also use a nail file. You can use different kinds of sandpaper and stuff to create this kind of powder as well. And then once you tap it onto whatever area that you have wet, then you can blow on the paper and all the extra pigment goes away. It's because it mostly blows off the paper anywhere that it's not going to be wet. The water is what's going to secure it to the paper. And we'll see a little difference in a bit when I get to the background, how that plays out. So I'll do that for the mouth, the nose, and the ear. And I'm just doing that with one color, but we'll also do that with multiple colors. So you can put multiples in there. Watercolor can't really do that necessarily, at least not with this kind of texture to it. But you can wet an area and then just drop color into it. But here you just get different types of control over it. So you can also do direct drawing on dry paper, which is what most people will do when they get out watercolor pencils, is just to start in using the pencil on the paper. You can use multiple colors. You can get dark areas, light areas, all that kind of thing, as you would with any pencil. And I find a lot of artists, when they're starting out, pencils are always the easiest thing. We've drawn with pencils since we were kids. So it's a very comfortable feeling in your hand to try drawing that way. And you can also do color mixing with direct drawing. So I switched to a more warm kind of pink instead of that cooler pink, so I could get some variance in the color. And then I wanted to get some darker color too. And this was not quite getting there for me. But I was using the water just to see how dark it was going to get and how dark it would dry before I decided on what was going to help me to get the depth inside that mouth that I needed, because a lot of these colors that I had chosen were quite bright and I wanted to be able to deepen them. So once I finished that, I dried it and switched to a much darker purplish pink kind of color for the underside of the tongue, so I can start creating the curl of the tongue as it's coming out of the mouth. And I wanted some super darks, but I didn't want to use black. And I used a green. It's because green and red are complements of each other on the color wheel. So you can use color mixing with your watercolor pencils just like you can with anything else. By just putting in a slight bit of that green, it's going to both neutralize the pink, so it's not quite as screamy bright, as well as give me some darker areas. And when I mix the colors together, you can see it's making this really deep dark pink. And I didn't have a pencil that was that really deep dark pink, but a black would have just taken over the color the green allows the pink to kind of still shine. So you can color mix that way as well as others with your watercolor pencils. Next up is the fur. And I'm going to start with using the powder onto wet paper, just like we've done before. And I'm going to use some gray in this side area on the side of the face. It's a very light area, but it does have some light coming into a little bit of the highlight areas around here. And you'll be able to see how that happens as I start taking a smaller brush and I'm dragging the color out further from the puddle that I had with that gray color. But what I decided to do was put more of the powder on the paper and not blow it off with my breath and leave it there and just start drawing with the brush with a little bit of water, not a ton, just a little bit of water, and dragging it through that pigment so I can basically draw with the pigment on the paper with the brush. And I didn't have to put down the water first. I could do it as I go. And I got a little more rich value because I put more of that pencil pigment right in that spot. And then once I'm done with this, I can blow off the excess pigment that's sitting on the paper and the white highlights will show. So you can work back and forth between these techniques to create various types of fur. And I'll be using them across the entire piece as I'm doing the cat, because there's lots and lots of fur here. And a lot of it is very soft areas that don't have definitive little bits of fur. And then other parts have really strong areas. So if I want to switch to all of a sudden a darker color, I can get the whole section painted and ready and wet. And then if I have the part under the chin that's a little darker, just take a darker pencil and drop just a little bit of pigment in that corner. So just control where you put that dark pigment by what is the wet area. And if you don't want that to go everywhere, you would dry the entire thing, just paint water into that corner, and then you wouldn't have the pigment kind of blowing across the whole thing. So here I'm using the deepening of values in the toes. Because I've got that extra pigment on the paper, I could use the brush to start drawing in the toes with the brush and creating that in the same way that we did with the fur. Now, a lot of watercolor pencil and using the powder helps you in controlling where you have those value placements. Like there's a little spot on the back of the cat where the kind of back haunches are casting a shadow where the body kind of goes down. And in that spot, I could paint the water and drop the pigment just in that area and let it slowly blend out. So it gives me the ability to have a hard line just by creating a wet place with that hard line in it. Same thing for this area around the other paw that's kind of laying out there. There's some nice rich darks down there, but I'm only painting the water in the area where I want it. And I'll paint the paw separately. So I'll dry all the background parts before I get to the paw. You can always do the paw first, etc. But I love that you can control exactly where the pigment sticks by drying one part and then painting another in. So I dried the entire body that's down, then painted in the water so that I could add in the paw. And a lot of this you, I guess, could do with watercolor, but working out the positive, negative parts of this paw would be a little more challenging in watercolor. It takes a lot more thinking ahead, whereas watercolor pencil allows you to just stop and think. Because as long as you get your watercolor edges to a place where you're not going to have a hard edge developing, you can actually just sit and plan out, okay, my next step should be this. The best technique would be, maybe let's try this. Or if you want to go test a color, you can do that because you have control over exactly where the paper is wet and where the pigment is going to stick and not stick. So now layering for texture. This is another of those great places that watercolor pencil can do things that watercolor in its traditional form may have a little more challenge with, is that I started by putting a almost graduated tone of just kind of messy, blobby color for the cat tree that the cat is sitting on, and then ended up putting powder on the paper in that area. And I'm using the technique of painting into it. So I've got the lighter gray that's underneath and the darker gray that I'm painting by using the pigment that's on the paper. And you could go into this and drop more color into it, drop deeper shadows into it if you wanted, all different kinds of things. If you wanted to change the color of that and make it a pink cat tree instead, which I considered, then you could make that whole section pink. So masking fluid, can you use masking fluid with colored pencil? You can if you're using the kind of techniques that I am, which is powdered pigment. If you were to try to draw over masking fluid, you would be in trouble. So I don't recommend that, but with powdered pigment, you can definitely do it. So I'm putting in the whiskers and a little bit on the back of the cat's fur because he's got like just a lot of electricity in the fur and it's kind of standing up. So I painted an area of the background and you can see it went gray. The reason is partially because my water has a little bit of gray in it, but it was a lot more than I expected because my water's not that gray. And it's because all of that pigment that I blew off of the paper, there's just a tiny film of it that remains behind. So if you were to try to paint this background and you didn't want any of the gray in it at all, then I would take, first just make sure you get all the dust off, the loose dust. Use a dust brush to get rid of that as much as possible. And then use an eraser to lift up anything else that's there. You can try rolling it with a kneaded eraser first, and then using a heavier eraser if needed, because you will get a little haze of that color in the background. Now, I decided to change the background color a bit, make it much darker so that the cat would stand out. And I just started adding in some pinks and some darker grays, and I was debating how dark to go. The cool thing about powdered pigment is you can just keep adding more as you change your mind about do I want to go darker? Do I not? Just remember, once you put it down, it's going to be a little on the difficult side to go all the way back to the beginning. I did decide to toss in just a tidge of black, not a ton, but a little, and just kind of work through the background with a big brush so that I could actually move that pigment more like watercolor than watercolor pencil. It'll still have a little texture because I'm not pushing at it really hard. You can just work at it and work at it to get rid of that texture, but I like it. That to me is part of what makes it look cool. So then there is the technique of lifting bokeh. Lifting is just when you're removing color, and I'm taking a baby wipe. It works a little better with a baby wipe because it's damp. It'll give you softer edges. And lifted up some of that color, and then I actually put some of the pink back into it so I could end up having more color in those bokeh dots. You can see how much pink I dropped in there. And if you put a lot of water in there, you'll actually get some of those, traditional kind of fingers that you get with watercolor. So I have some of those fingers in there, which looked kind of cool. Now, lifting of the masking fluid, one of the things I was really careful about is that the masking fluid gets some of that powdered pigment stuck to it. So you need to be careful when you're kind of pushing on the rubber cement pickup to try to lift that stuff off. You're going to have some pigment moving, and you can use a rubber eraser to lift that off because it's still pencil. You can still treat that like pencil. So just lifting that by just rubbing that rubber cement pickup and then erasing some of those portions where some of that powder spilled over into the cat. Now, to thin out lines like these whiskers, if you were to just take pencil and draw alongside them, it'd be a little more challenging because you'd end up with a bunch of pencil lines. So what I ended up doing was using some of the pigment that's on the outside of my tape, which was kind of cool. You could also create a little section of those colors and make a puddle of scribbled pigment and then dip your pencil into it to paint with it. But I'm darkening some of those whiskers and thinning some of them out using that technique. Now here on the back end of the cat, I had a lot more work to do with that to soften all of that fur that's standing up. So I just put some of that pencil pigment down, and then I could draw negatively, because I'm drawing from the background toward the cat to create that soft background on his behind, and then blow off the excess pigment. And then when it's dry, you can use the eraser if there's anything left of that. So the eraser works pretty cool to lift some of this. Once it becomes watercolor, it's not as easy to erase, but you can do some. You can also do that same kind of a thing a little bit with watercolor if it's applied thinly. So the last bit is direct drawing some of the final details, because I always take a look at what I've done once I'm finished, because the background will change basically what the interior colors look like by contrast, because everything is seen by how it relates to everything else. And I needed some parts of that mouth to go as dark as the background. So I'm using a dark gray instead of the black, because there's no solid black. The black is mixed with the gray and the pink in the background. So I'm just using the gray to gray out the inside of the mouth and make it a little bit darker, and add a little bit of depth to the tongue, etc. And then using the brush to move the color around. And you can fuss till the cows come home, as I often say. I should have an entire farm full of cows outside of my house by the time I get a piece of artwork done. But just putting in a few of those dark details will help to make the whole piece pop in the long run, which is kind of cool, that you can just keep adding in little bits and details and find areas that maybe you missed. I didn't realize there was supposed to be a little more dark underneath of the mouth there, and could add that in once I have the context of the entire piece to see where little marks will help to increase what I want the viewer to see, because it's all about what your focus is in your artwork. And here I wanted people to just get the idea of that big yawning mouth, big tired yawning mouth. Now you can have a chat with your traditional watercolors and tell them they do not have to be jealous of your watercolor pencils, because they can work together. If there's an area of your watercolor painting you don't know how to handle in watercolor, try adding in some watercolor pencil and supplement what you're using in your traditional watercolors. Because, all these mediums play nicely together. Just make sure they're all light fast if you want to preserve that artwork for the future. So this is all finished. This is in my shop. If this looks like your kitty and needs to go home with you, 10% of all my sales on my fine art are going to ICAF this month, the International Child Art Foundation. And we're doing some fundraising for them. There's a bunch of information on my website on the World Watercolor Month page that's linked in the doobly-doo. All the different types of ways you can get involved in fundraising. Lots of fun for World Watercolor Month, new classes, and the like. So check all that out. I hope to see you tomorrow on the free Zoom call, where we're going to be painting some bookmarks. And then again here on Saturday with a new video and more creativity to inspire you. I will see you then. Take care. Have a really great week ahead. Bye-bye.